Amidst the perpetual turmoil in the Middle East, as the Israel-Palestine conflict continues to rage on, Iran stands as one of the most vocal and aggressive forces in resistance. While countries like Egypt, Jordan, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Morocco opt for diplomatic channels, Iran takes a different stance. Iraq and Syria have become battlegrounds that showcase Iran's military prowess. The country cannot be compared to its neighbors in the Middle East. In recent decades, Iran has responded to pressure by building an extraordinary foundation of technological independence. This paramilitary nation has successfully cultivated its own military ecosystem, including one of the most feared ballistic missile programs in the Middle East. Take, for instance, the Fada, a hypersonic ballistic missile unveiled in June 2023. This missile is not just a weapon, but a symbol of Iran's technological leap. The Fada can reach speeds of up to 18,500 kilometers per hour, posing a real threat to distant regions, including Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. With a maximum range of approximately 1,400 kilometers and airborne maneuverability, the Fada has become a nemesis for air defense systems, including Israel's renowned Iron Dome. Iranian-made drones, such as the Shahed 136, have demonstrated a frightening impact in strategic battles, rendering Iran a respected and feared global player. However, the United States and its allies have not given this nation room to breathe. Iran has developed its domestic industry and strengthened its energy sector as the backbone of its economy. Iran remains one of the world's largest oil producers, boasting the world's second-largest crude oil reserves. Strategic partnerships with nations like China and Russia have ensured that Iran is never truly alone on the global geopolitical stage. In 2021, Iran and China signed a 25-year strategic cooperation agreement worth billions of dollars, covering investments in Iran's energy and infrastructure sectors. This agreement made China a loyal customer of Iranian oil and provided an alternative trade route beyond Western control. Although not entirely public, there are strong indications that Iran and China share military technology and intelligence, further strengthening Iran's position in the region. Meanwhile, Russia has long been Iran's partner in defense, including the S-300 air defense system and the development of civil nuclear technology, such as the construction of the Bushehr reactor. These relationships make Iran feel protected from the total isolation designed by the West. In international forums, Russia often serves as a shield for Iran, blocking resolutions that could worsen Tehran's situation. With the support of these two giants, Iran has not only become an independent nation in economic and technological terms but also a geopolitical actor with sufficient freedom to challenge Western hegemony. While Israel has the United States as its main ally, Iran feels confident with China and Russia behind it, two powers that do not hesitate to challenge American dominance in the Middle East. However, the ongoing violence between Iran and Israel is not just a military conflict or an economic interest struggle, but also an ideological war rooted in the 1979 Iranian Islamic Revolution. Before the revolution that overthrew Reza Shah Pahlavi, Iran and Israel had a close strategic partnership. Iran was even the first Muslim country to establish diplomatic relations with Israel unofficially. However, everything changed when Ayatollah Khomeini replaced the monarchical regime with a Shia theocracy that advocated anti-Zionist principles. Khomeini saw Israel not just as an enemy but as a symbol of Western colonialism in the heart of the Islamic world. Since then, Iran has proclaimed its struggle to liberate Palestine and eliminate Israel from the map, as frequently chanted in slogans like, "Death to Israel." This is not just a rallying cry repeated in every military parade and revolution anniversary celebration. Despite this, history records that the relationship between Iran and Israel once presented a paradox in the 1980s. During the Iran-Iraq War, Israel was reportedly secretly supplying arms to Iran to counter Iraq's dominance, which posed a common threat. However, this clandestine relationship never managed to eliminate the ideological hostility that continued to simmer in public and military spheres. In the 1990s, Iran began to establish itself as a major sponsor of militant groups that posed a threat to Israel. Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Palestine received financial, training, and armament support from Tehran. The Hezbollah attack on Israel's northern region during the Second Lebanon War in 2006 was just one of many manifestations of the ongoing proxy war between Iran and Israel. Tensions between the two nations intensified as Iran developed its nuclear program in the early 2000s. Israel viewed this program as an existential threat that could not be tolerated. This led to covert operations, such as the use of the Stuxnet virus to disrupt Iran's nuclear program in 2010, as well as a series of assassinations of Iranian nuclear scientists, which have been linked to Mossad operations. When the Syrian civil war erupted in 2011, the conflict between Israel and Iran intensified further. Iran supported the Bashar al-Assad regime by deploying Quds Force troops and proxy militias, while Israel continued to conduct airstrikes to destroy Iranian military bases and Hezbollah arms depots in Syrian territory. Iran has been accused of backing the Houthi group in Yemen, which is in conflict with the Saudi-led military coalition, indirectly aligning with Israel in the region's geopolitical scheme. The escalation reached its peak in 2020 when General Qasem Soleimani, commander of the Quds Force and architect of Iran's Middle East strategy, was killed in an Israeli drone strike in Baghdad. Iran accused Israel of involvement in gathering intelligence supporting the operation. Iran's retaliation was not limited to rocket attacks on U.S. bases in Iraq but also included an increase in cyber attacks on Israeli infrastructure, including power outages and sabotage of water facilities. The conflict reached a boiling point when on April 1, 2024, Israel launched an airstrike that destroyed Iran's embassy complex in Damascus, killing a senior Iranian general. Iran did not remain silent, and on April 13, 2024, it launched hundreds of cruise missiles at Israel. On October 1, 2024, Iran again shook the region by launching a barrage of ballistic missiles at the heart of Israel, including Tel Aviv, in retaliation for Israel's covert operations targeting senior Iranian officials and its allies, such as Hamas and Hezbollah. The attack resulted in civilian casualties and significant damage to several urban areas, demonstrating how tensions have escalated from proxy wars to open conflict, potentially triggering a broader regional war. What the world witnesses today is merely the culmination of decades-long hostility, where the silent war between Iran and Israel has gradually transformed into direct military clashes that seem almost inevitable.